Hey, how's it going? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm glad to hear you're doing great. So let me ask you something. Why are you not vegan? If you
Uh,
are not,
well, I'm not vegan because of my gains. I do work out a lot. Also, I'm an au pair, so my diet doesn't depend on me. It depends on my bosses and stuff. So,
depends on what.
my bosses, like my boss, they pay for my food. So
Okay.
I basically eat what they eat. So.
Okay. So let me ask you something. You said something about your gains. Are you like suggesting that it is inferior to get gains on a plant-based diet or something like that?
No, I do think that it's possible to, get gains based on like a plant-based diet. However, maybe it's like easier to get your. I know that this sounds cruel, but it's easier
It's easier to what?
to get your gains eating like protein.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so you're saying like it's more convenient, therefore it's fine to like stab animals to death and stuff like that. So let me ask you something. Let's say your bosses like gave you human meat, and
Yeah.
would you eat it?
No.
So you would say no to your bosses. No, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna eat human meat for my gains. You would say that.
Yeah, I would say that.
So that's like the limit case. You're offered human meat. You're not gonna accept it like no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
But you do accept like animal meat. So let me ask you this: like, what's so different between us and animals that justifies stabbing animals for your gains but not humans?
Well, I don't think that there is a difference. And I know like that is cool. I used to be vegetarian for like 4 years. However, my lifestyle, I'm not in my own country and I don't depend on me. So that's why I just like get used to it. I'm not saying that it's okay and I'm not saying that it's right to do that. Uh, However, it's like kind of out of my hands and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I don't think that is okay to eat animals or to be cruel with them. And for sure, I think that being vegan is like the best option for animals, also for the planet. Sometimes it's just not easy on your lifestyle.
So what I don't understand is like why you have those different attitudes in the two contexts. Like if your bosses like offered you human meat, you would like clearly say no, I'm not gonna eat human meat. But they offered you animal products and you say yes. So I'm just not understanding what's so different between us and animals that like accounts for you like just saying yes in the animal context but not in the human context.
I guess that maybe because, well, it's just something cultural. Like we grew up thinking that it was okay to eat animals, even though it's not okay. And we were taught that it's not okay to eat, like human beings. I don't think that we are superior on any matter to animals. And I'm not saying that it's okay. I just think that it's a matter of context. That's what I would say.
So, so you mentioned like cultural tradition. Like let's say you were raised in a society where it was like legal and traditional to eat humans, and in that case, if your bosses like just gave you human meat, you would like happily eat it. In that context, or would you say no, like regardless of if it's cultural or not?
Well, this is something that is very like utopian and like I don't know if I will say no to eating like human meat because I will grow up thinking that it's okay. So I wouldn't. I don't know how to answer to that question because it's something that in that context maybe I will think it's okay because ever since I was born I was taught that it was okay eating other human beings. Um, but
What about
that's
from your
not the
values
case.
right now? Like from the values you have right now, would you think it would be wrong to accept human meat?
Well, of
Even if it
course.
was traditional, even if it was like part of the culture, it would be still be wrong, like according to the values that you have today.
Yeah, I think that it will be, again, as I'm saying, I don't think that it's okay to eat animals or to be cruel towards them. Uh, However, I also don't think that it's okay to just like come out at people and just like be this straightforward. I do agree that we need to be more conscious about the way how we impact planet and other beings like animals, even if it's just like cows or horses or whatever. chickens. I know that they suffer a lot, and it's not that I'm choosing to be. Maybe I am. I'm not saying
Would
that
you
I'm.
say that you're like complicit on the exploitation and the animal holocaust when you're like saying yes to it instead of
Yeah,
like
well,
taking a hard stance and saying no? Like I'm there's some things that I wouldn't support. I will not support uh, slavery and exploitation. So just say no, see what happens. Like, have you ever tried saying like, hey, I'm vegan now?
well, I try being vegetarian. However, well, in terms of like my health and again my lifestyle right now, that basically doesn't depend on me as much. That's why I had to like get away from that a little bit. Uh, but that doesn't make me like. I'm not saying that I'm not completing. I 100% I am like completed with that, and that doesn't mean that I'm okay with it, or that doesn't mean that it's not a struggle. I would say um, I just think that it's just a matter of where I am right now in life, and yeah, I do. To your point, I do think that yeah, it's not fair
Not fair to them, to the
to
animals.
them, to the animals,
Would
to
you say
do that.
something wrong? Like, would you say that you're doing something wrong by saying yes to those products and like supporting
Well,
them economically?
well, if I'm being someone that is like conscious about their suffering, of course, I will say that is not it's not fair to them. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned vegetarian. That you tried being vegetarian in the past. Do you know the difference between vegetarian and vegan?
Yeah, vegetarians still eat um, some animal produce like dairy and eggs, which is still not okay because
You've seen the sort of stuff that happens in the dairy industry, the egg industries.
yeah, yeah, I've seen that. So, but the way how I live my life is like better done than perfect. Nowadays, it's very hard to be just like it's perfect, and I'm not excusing myself. Like maybe it's wrong, and I do accept the blame. And it's not that I'm trying to be cruel. It's not on purpose. I just think that it also depends on your context. You know, because it's not easy if you think about not just culture. It's also the way how you see life, your education. So it's like it's very hard to. I'm not saying that it's okay. These are like no excuses. It's just reasoning. There's no excuse for being cruel. So, but it's just telling you my truth.
If you had to like define veganism, how would you define it?
Um, I will say that it's a great. I will describe it as a great movement, and I will say that is selfless. That's how I will describe it. I care more about others, and I care about beings that are defenseless more than I care about my desire or my taste. Because as I understand it, it's not that you vegans don't like the taste, but you choose like their lives over, whatever you're craving or you want to eat. So
I like how you define it. Like you're saying, like it's a selfless movement, so it has to do with ethics, with like it's like a moral philosophy. So you understand veganism encompasses more than just what we eat. It's
yeah,
the sort of stuff we supporting what we wear, in many areas, right?
yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Do you think that is it possible that you have more power than you think? Like if you like if you said to the people that pay for your food, if you say, I'm going vegan now, do you think it's possible that they would like, buy vegan food for you and stuff like that, and it would be like not impossible for them to support you and while being vegan?
I don't think that it will be impossible. Um, for sure, if you discuss something with people, there is always a way to get to an agreement. So I don't think it's impossible to do that. Like,
Would you say that it would be the right thing to do instead of
yeah,
like support continuing to support like animal exploitation?
yeah, for sure. There is always we can do as something that we can do as consumers, not just with animals, just in general for the environment and people in
And
general.
would you see it as morally obligatory to go vegan?
Well, I don't like to think about things as an obligation because then you wouldn't do it because you actually believe in it, just because you have to, and there is a big difference between those things.
By obligation, I just mean that it would be wrong to like not do it. Like it would be wrong to not be vegan, in the same way that it would be like wrong to like not stab an innocent kid right here. Like, would you say it's like a moral obligation to not go around stabbing kids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time, that doesn't mean that there is no people doing that. You know,
Exactly,
like
but-
stabbing, even though it's a moral obligation not being stabbing people or killing innocent children, that doesn't mean that there are no people doing it. So the way how I would like to approach it, if I do it, is just by doing it because I believe in it and because I believe it's right. It's the right thing to do.
But in that case, do you see it as a moral obligation to not go around stabbing kids? Or would you say it's just a choice? It's not an obligation, or would you say it's an obligation to like
No.
like protect the right to life and not like violate the right to life?
No, I do agree, but I don't. What I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't like to approach it as a moral obligation, even though it will be part of my values and the way how I want to live. I wouldn't like to approach it that way. I would like to see it as something that I want to do because it's the right thing and it resonates with me more than it's because it's a moral obligation. Because then, what's the point?
We can like use that language. It doesn't resonate with you to go around stabbing kids.
No,
You wouldn't
it's
do
not
it?
in anything. Yeah,
You think you're
For
gonna
anyone.
you're gonna live your whole life without stabbing kids?
stabbing kids or anyone. Yeah.
But animals, you're gonna continue to stab.
Well, here the thing is that, and that's the tricky part, and that's why we choose to live the way how we do it, is because we are not actually the ones, we are participating on that, you know? We are basically supporting, we are sending the arms, I would say, to kill them, but it's easier for us to turn around because we are not actually doing it. Again, I'm not saying that it's
But
okay.
we're paying for it, right?
Yeah, we're paying for it. I'm not saying that it's okay.
So at least I appreciate that you're admitting it's wrong, right?
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not saying that I will just go and like stab people or animals or whatever people. Sorry. I just think that the right thing is not to do it, not to eat animals or not to stab kids. If we go back to
Yeah, and we started this conversation by me asking you if there's like a morally significant difference between humans and animals that justifies like
think-
holocausting animals but not humans. And you said that you don't think there is like a morally significant difference.
No, I don't think there is. I think that every life is valuable, and that is contradictory to the way I am living. But at the same time, that's who we are as humans. We are also like contradictory. Like we contradict ourselves all the time. And again, I'm not saying that.
But it does sound that you have, sorry to interrupt, it does sound like you have vegan values. But what you just said, it sounds like you do have vegan values. It would be a matter of like aligning your actions with your values. But what you said that there's no morally significant difference is what vegans say. Vegans say like there's no reason to like give rights to life and not to be exploited and not to be enslaved to humans, but not to animals because there's like not a substantive difference.
No.
We all sentient, we all want to live, we all value our lives, right?
Yes, for sure. Like I know that cows, they feel scared or they feel afraid when they are going to be killed. I know that they do have like best friends, and I know that they are like very cute. I know a lot of things about animals, and that doesn't make it like any easier. Of course, makes it makes it is more like difficult to actually eat them. So yeah, I think that is a matter of just like aligning my actions with my thoughts and
Yeah, I agree. And you said Gainz. By Gainz, what do you mean? Like muscle?
yeah.
And you don't think it's justified to like to
No.
inflict violence on others for muscles?
No, it's not justified. It's not at all. That is just something shallow to say. Yeah.
You're a good person. You have vegan values for what I see, but I just think that you're not aware of the power you have. I think you have more power than you think. I think you could easily go vegan if you like this decided to do it and have set a clear intention and not let people tell you what to do.
Yeah, I do agree. Again, as consumers, we have more power than we think in general, not just with animals, but with our environment, with the companies we support, everything. We do have a lot of power.
Have you seen the sort of stuff that happens to animals in like the slaughterhouses, in like the standard practices of how we get animals to appear in your plate?
Yes, it's really sad. I've seen a couple documentaries on Netflix and stuff.
Have you seen Dominion?
No, that one I haven't
Yeah, I
seen.
recommend you see Dominion on YouTube. It shows you the standard practice of what we do to animals in the food industry, but also in many other industries, and it's horrific. Like maybe if you see it, it gives you that extra push you need to like say no to that.
Okay.
But anyways, it's between you and your conscience now. But thank you for accepting the conversation.
Of course, yeah. Thank you for your interview. It's good.
How many more animals you want to be tortured and stabbed in your name?
Oh no.
Zero.
No, zero. Yeah.
That's called being
No.
vegan. Anyway, have a good one.
You too.
Nice to meet you.